My name is Rick Warren. I'm 25 years old. I'm here to start a new church. I have no members, I have no building, I have no money, but I need a place to live. And I asked Don, I said, do you attend church anywhere?
No, I don't.
I said, well, great, you're going to be my first member. And that's exactly what happened. Don became the first member of Saddleback Church. 2 weeks later, we held our first Bible study. 7 people showed up. I had decided that we would make no effort at all to attract Christians from other churches. Since I felt called to reach unbelievers, I determined to begin with unbelievers rather than with a core of committed Christians. In order to understand the mindset of unchurched Southern Californians, I spent the first 12 weeks just going door to door, talking to people individually.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I would introduce myself by saying, hi, my name's Rick Warren, and I'm taking an opinion poll in our community. I'm not here to sell you anything or sign you up for anything or to convert you to anything. I'd like to ask you 5 questions, and there are no right or wrong answers. It'll only take about 2 minutes.
Sure, just a second. Caleb? Yeah, play nice with your brother.
You got a minute?
From that survey, we discovered 4 common complaints about churches.
Church is boring, especially the sermons. The messages don't relate to my life, and let's not forget, people are judgmental.
I just feel like church members can be a little unfriendly sometimes.
Well, we worry about the quality of the church's childcare.
Well, I feel like the church is more interested in my money than me.
When I go, I just want to feel welcome and not embarrassed.
I've learned that most people can't hear until first they've been heard. People don't care how much we know until they know how much we care.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I see, I understand.
I'm so sorry that you had that experience.
Tell me more. Bill, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That little group grew to about 15 people. We hand-addressed and hand-stamped 15,000 letters, and we mailed them out 10 days before Easter, right before the first service. I wrote and rewrote that letter probably a dozen times because I kept thinking, what would I say if I had only one opportunity to speak to all of the unchurched people in Southern Orange County? What would I say to them? It said, at last, a new church for those who've given up on traditional church services. It went on to explain the kind of church that we were starting, and it invited them to our first service at Easter.
Is this really the way to start a church? You decide? And the stress here is on you and deciding. You decide. And since it's your preference to go after unbelievers, which, by the way, the church is for Christians, sheep, not goats. So you come up with an opinion poll survey to see what people perceive as flaws in their past church experience. And now that's how you're going to attract them? By catering to what they think a church should be? Is this really the way to start a church? And if we really want to be honest, as Christians, we're never ever starting a church, but being adopted into the church individually by grace through faith, apart from works. And this church, Jesus Christ established, as recorded in Matthew 16, where Peter declares, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And then Jesus says, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." And then now here's the poll quote, "And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." It's Christ's church, by the way, not our church to start. "I will build my church," Jesus says to Peter, and he concludes, "and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." And so I guess the real question is, how has Christ built his church over the centuries? And then now the best and primary evidence and example of how Christ has built his church over the centuries is found in Acts chapter 2, on the day of Pentecost. And it's interesting to note that Peter doesn't go out to survey the neighborhood after the Holy Spirit comes in fulfillment of Christ's promise, but Peter preaches the gospel, and Jesus builds his church with it. And the passage in Acts 2 ends in verse 41 with, very important for you to see it, so those who received his, Peter's, word, sermon, preaching the gospel, were baptized. And here it is, there were added that day about 3,000 souls. And though it doesn't say, it implies 3,000 souls were added to the church. And so the best and primary evidence and example of how Christ has built his church over the centuries is found in Acts chapter 2, on the day of Pentecost, when Peter preaches the gospel and Jesus builds his church with it. And shouldn't that be the way we follow? Versus some fresh out of Bible school 25-year-old's product marketing scheme? Find out what the consumer target audience wants and then give it to them. I don't think so.